In this video, I'm going to be talking about the one thing that you should definitely know as a fighter before entering any fight, and it's surprising probably how many of you don't actually know it completely. So stay tuned and watch this video. My name's Will Butler. I'm a former professional fighter and also a personal trainer. So I'll make YouTube videos about fitness and about MMA. So if you think you might like that, consider hitting that subscribe button. And also, if you'd like to ask me a question, to make a video about a question, leave it in the comments down below. But if you'd rather inbox me privately a question, then you can do that on my Instagram. The link is in the description below. Right. Now, I'm not going to mutter on and hold the thing right till the end. I'm going to tell you straight away what it should be. The one thing you should definitely know. And believe it or not, that's the rules before you go into a fight. Not a lot of people, especially at an amateur level, know completely all the rules. And especially at amateur levels and at different shows, the rules vary a lot. I mean, just because the UFC's about, a lot of people think that that is the same rule set for everywhere. Now, it normally is near enough sort of the same sort of style and rule set, but I'm going to tell you a story of what happened to me. I was competing. Now, remember what this show is called, right? I was competing at a show called Ground and Pound. The show was called Ground and Pound. Anyway, I was fighting this fella, I won't mention his name, but I was fighting this fella, and I'd already actually trained with him before. And he was a skinnier fella, and he was quite taller than me, and he was a very good striker, so I thought he's going to have the striker's advantage. But I knew from training with him that I was quite strong, and I felt like I could out-wrestle him. So obviously, my game plan was to go to the floor and wrestle him. Anyway, as we was getting closer to the show, I went for my weigh-ins. I forgot to mention, by the way, the person I was fighting, whose show it was, he was competing on that show. Anyway, I done the weigh-ins, fight day come, blah, 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 blah. Just before I entered the cage, I actually find out that they've turned around and said that they've not got the legal stuff to be able to do ground and pound, punching on the floor. So it had to be classed as a semi-pro fight. And apparently I was already told of this, but I'm not going to cry or anything. I could have backed out the fight. I didn't. I chose to fight still anyway. But the whole game plan was for me to use my ground and pound against my opponent, because I thought I'd have the better advantage. So me not knowing the rules completely, obviously I felt like it was a massive disadvantage. But like I said, I took the fight anyway. I did lose on points, but it was very close, and it was a very good fight, and I thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a hell of a lot. But from now on, whenever I go to compete, I always make sure I know exactly all the rules, what is happening for that event, what I'm going to be fighting on. And if they try and change the rules closer to the time, then in the future I will pull out, because that is no good. And in doing so, in finding out all the rules from when I was competing, there was actually some rules what I found about MMA which I didn't actually know before. Again, sorry, I'm not going to say what they are, because I don't know if they're for all around for different countries, different locations. So the rules might change and vary ever so slightly. Yes, the referee does go for a rules meeting before the fight normally, but he normally covers the basics. It's good to go quite in depth and know exactly what you can and what you can't do for that event. So then that way, if anything ever was to come up when you're competing, there's no ifs and buts. You know exactly what's going on and what you're legally allowed to be doing in the cage. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Again, if you ain't subscribed yet, then please do subscribe. And if you've got a similar story or anything like that, let us know in the comment section down below. It'd be really cool to hear about it. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all soon.